Hey, thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we are tracking storms across the southern portions of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and Florida today. But our big story for today is going to be those storms yesterday. Our first major storm of the year, hailstorm of the year, happened yesterday afternoon just outside of Birmingham, Alabama. The suburbs saw 2-inch size hailstones at times. We have videos of those storms here in just a few minutes. We'll show that to you. We've got severe weather coming up next week. So while we are watching for a very small and low hail risk today, our big story is going to be those storms next week. That's going to go across the southern plains and across the Missouri Valley. So we're watching for our next chance for storms. It's already on the board for Oklahoma and Texas. We talked about it yesterday. We're going to give you more details today. We also have extreme warmth. If you're not getting the storms, hey, you've got great weather to get outside and track storms that happened this time last year. We've got 80s and 90s for the southern plains as we head into the weekend and early next week. March looks like it's going to be a very warm start. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the severe risk for today. It's pretty low chance down in the southern portions of our southeast states and into Florida. I think we actually do have a marginal risk on this where we could see some strong wind gusts and maybe even some small hail. We have that highlighted there in green. It's a level 1 severe weather risk. The tornado risk very low here. We are also going to see storms across Oklahoma today, and then mainly in the eastern side of the state. We could see some very isolated storms in the central portion of the state. This is likely not to go severe. Some strong wind gusts are possible out of this, but for the most part, we're not expecting anything severe until next week. Some rain on and off here for tomorrow and today, but for the most part, we're not expecting anything too impressive. I want to take you to next week. 1 second, let me get this graphic to extend all the way to next week. So here we are Monday, Tuesday, but Wednesday is the day that I'm really focusing on. So we're about 6 days out from this event right here. This is your next significant severe weather risk. This is what I want you to keep an eye on. This is next Wednesday, south of Oklahoma City, south of 44, all the way down 35, across I-20, including Dallas, Texas. This is your next significant severe weather risk. I am expecting the potential for hail, wind, and tornadoes with this system. If you go farther up to the north, you're going to see a major rain event, so you may have some flooding issues farther up to the north. Columbus, Ohio, dry right now, but we are not expecting anything severe across the Midwest for right now. I would take a look at late next week if you want that severe weather across Ohio. You're going to have a low chance, but it's a chance. Alrighty, let's go to our last 48 hours because we are slowly starting to see that storm activity get a lot more common. North Platte, just about 2 days ago, we saw a wind event, but nothing compared to what we saw yesterday across Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, and Georgia. Take a look at this storm right here. The first storm of the day was probably our most impressive storm that we saw. We're going to zoom down to just northeast or northwest of Birmingham. So look at this storm right here. What question do we have here? I'm glad it stopped raining and to have sunny conditions back tomorrow in Macon, Georgia. Thanks for joining us from Georgia today. Yeah, we saw those storms in Georgia yesterday. They weren't impressive as the storms that we got in Alabama. So let's go to this storm in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, just north of I-22 here. Watch this storm just explode. We started to get those hail reports early on, and then we saw this storm warned for golf ball size hail at some points. Our meteorologists were mapping this storm as it paralleled I-22 as it tracked across 65 and down to the southeast. Our max hail size here, 2-inch size hailstones. Homes impacted by storms for the entire day, over 100,000 homes impacted. From the maps that we saw yesterday, we covered over 100,000 homes. And the location mainly was from Trussville to Moody to Center Point. Those were the areas that got hit the hardest, and really because of this supercell right here, it continued to track down to the southeast, again warned at times for golf ball size hail, so that's very, very impactful hail. That's why you see that warning now with those hatched lines, those black lines that are going through it. And we even at one point saw just a little hook echo on there, and we got a tornado report. Now we did see some wind impacts here. The tornado, if any, was most likely a weak tornado, just a very, very brief spin up. We went ahead and said most likely EF0. But this was our major storm yesterday. By the time this storm was over and we were really focused on this storm, you zoom out and you notice, holy moly, the entire state, especially the northern side of the state, has just blown up with hail. We got a ton of hail reports yesterday, 48 severe thunderstorm warnings, most of those driven by large hail. So you can see just how many hail reports we got yesterday across the northern portions of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. All of those hail reports are here highlighted in tan, or that green color. After that, these storms continued to track down to the south, and that's where we find them today. Now watching for storms across the central and southern portion of Florida this afternoon. You can see those storms on the radar. This is a live radar right now. Storms are moving in to the west side of Florida right now. We're going to see those on the east side later on today. That's where we could see some of those stronger storms, high wind gusts, and hail. All right, moving on, let's check our temperatures. Our temperatures are nice and warm today. You can tell that we are enjoying the nice warm weather here in Oklahoma City. I've got my tank top on today. 75 in Oklahoma City, 77 in Dallas. Absolutely gorgeous out there. But here's the thing. You get a cold front coming through, you've got those warm temperatures, you've got that moisture coming up from the Gulf, and you've got a chance for storms, okay? We're setting that chance up right now. This is just the very beginning of that chance for storms that will impact us next week. In the meantime, we do have to deal with those fire conditions. We've got a red flag warning highlighted in pink for the northern portion of Nebraska, southern South Dakota, and northern Missouri. Significant hail for today. It's a low chance. It's going to be down on the east side of Florida. We've every now and then got some of those yellows trying to mix in here, which indicates up to quarter-size hail. So what I put for hail today is on the lower end, up to the size of a quarter. Pretty small hail today, pretty low chance too. It's such a low chance. I didn't make a hail map today. I just didn't think it'd be that significant. Now next week we're going to have better chances for significant hail. Today, not as concerned about that. You can see that we've got those storms moving across the central portion of Florida, Tampa, all the way across 95 as we head into the mid to afternoon hours. There you go. Storms wrap up later on this evening, and then we're quiet for just a day or two until we get to next week. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to fast forward. I want to talk about our future radar for next week. Excuse me. Few storms this weekend. Here's Saturday. We're going to see a few storms across central Oklahoma and then to the eastern portion of the state. A few storms across Florida. Sunday, very, very similar. Ooh, we could see some snow up in northern Kansas. Kansas City, you're going to get some cold rain here, maybe even a wintry mix trying to move in just to the north of you near St. Joe. But what we're really watching for is the storms that set up on Wednesday. You're going to see some rain on Tuesday. Better chances for storms on Wednesday. So here's the setup. We've got a low pressure system moving in. Extending from that is a cold front. In front of that cold front, that's your storm system, right? So that's where we have that warm, moist air. You've got that front moving through. What does it do? It picks up that air and it lifts it. And you guys know the drill here. What goes up must come down. And so there's your severe weather risk right here, anywhere from south of Oklahoma City, just slightly to the east, includes Dallas here. That severe weather risk does go over Dallas. And what we're watching for is an all-hazard system, the potential for hail, wind, and tornadoes. Farther up to the north, as I mentioned earlier, we have a big rain event moving through here. If you were wondering about Ohio, you guys are going to get a lot of rain mid next week. St. Louis, hail forecast for the first week of March. I think it's a pretty low chance for you guys to get hail with this system right here. So this midweek system, pretty low chance for St. Louis to get hail. You will most likely get rain, maybe a little bit of wind, but that better chance for severe weather is farther down to the south. This is not the only chance that we have for severe weather. We're going to have another round of storms by late next week. This is setting up on what appears to be a pretty significant dry line. Now we're about 7 days away from this, so things could change, if timing changes, if the moisture content changes, this all could change. However, it's pretty significant, and models are being pretty consistent with this dry line as well. Again, this will be in the western side of Oklahoma, through western Texas. Another chance for tornadoes and hail with this system as well. So there's Friday. We're again not talking about today. We're talking about next Friday, 1 week from today. Oh, a great question here. Does Dallas include Fort Worth on Wednesday? Yes, it does. I can show you your risk. Let's go to your risk on Wednesday. Here's Tuesday, and here is Wednesday. Not only DFW, but all the way as far south as maybe Waco included in this. And then we're also watching for a few cities just to the west of Dallas. I mean, Dallas is almost in the center of the storm risk. So yeah, Dallas, Fort Worth, Denton, all included in the storm risk for Wednesday. Great question there. On Friday, I may push, we don't have a risk quite yet for Friday. That may be something that I work on tomorrow, and I'll get a risk out for that tomorrow. But on Friday, I may push that a little bit farther to the west. Oklahoma City, just to the south of Oklahoma City, is in the risk right now, but I would not be surprised if this gets expanded farther up to the north. What I would watch here is right along 35 and to the east. I don't expect this to get pushed any farther west, but I could see it getting pushed a little bit farther to the north and east. So I wouldn't be surprised if Oklahoma City gets added to this risk. Again, we're still about 5 days out from the storm system moving through, so we still have a lot of unknowns here. What we do know is that models have consistently, over and over, shown us likelihood for storms. And so we were talking about this risk for storms on Wednesday. We've been talking about this for days. Storm Prediction Center came out with their risk today, so that's what I'm showing you right now. I'm going to go ahead and look at Friday, either this evening or tomorrow, and I'll make sure I get that on social media so that you guys can see what we're expecting for late next week too. Any other questions? Put them in the chat. We would love to answer your questions as best as we can here. In the meantime, I'm going to talk about temperatures. If you're not getting storms, which very few of us are getting storms over the next 7 days, we're nice and warm, okay? Temperatures are trying to cool down this weekend, giving us just a brief look at winter once again before they warm back up early to late next week. You can see that those temperatures will favor, or it's going to be pretty common to see 70s and 80s on the board. We've got 70s across the board today, 80s farther down to the south for tomorrow. It's a gorgeous Saturday to get outside. And this warm weather trend will continue as we head into March. So this is March 4th through 8th. We're officially into the first week of March right now. And we've got temperatures well above average for a good portion of the U.S. A likelihood to go above average across St. Louis all the way down to Atlanta. I mean, really everyone will most likely see temperatures warmer than what they would normally be this time of the year. And here's the best part about that. We have a good chance for rain as well. I know that we absolutely we're desperate for that rain across the Four Corners, all the way to the western portion of Oklahoma and Texas. Missouri, even in a fire risk today. So that rain is going to mitigate the fire risk. Great news there. But that rain doesn't come without the risk. We still have a chance for severe storms all the way through the end of next week. So while we're going to get that rain, we could also see severe storms with this as well. So just keep that in mind. You know, it's a good thing until there's too many storms. And again, I did want to mention that we've got heavy rain on the board here. So that goes all the way up to St. Louis and Chicago. And then I wanted to differentiate. You've got rain and then you've got storms, okay? So you've got that heavy rain risk and then you've got that severe weather risk that's likely anywhere from the 5th through the 11th. So what we're looking at here is the middle to end of next week, even into next weekend. So it's not just going to be 1 or 2 rounds of storms here. This very early March system, or systems, look more like May to me. Ooh, we're asking hard questions here. Size of hail next Friday and wind speed. James, I will get back to you on that. Friday, it's still so far out. Models, I'm just not, you can't put a ton of faith into models this far out. I'll take a look at the different models. I'll take a look at long-range models. Again, we're 7 days out. A lot can change in those 7 days. I trust models about 4 days out, but day 5, day 6, day 7, they become less and less trustworthy. I'll take a look at it for you. Again, for Friday, I'm looking at this area right here, anywhere from West Texas to the western side of Oklahoma. What was our next question? So if you were to compare the start of this year with its warm weather trend to a previous year, what would it be? Great question. What I would look at is, and we talk about this in our hail forecast, 1997 and 2002. And why we chose those years is because of the significant drought that's going on across the Four Corners and across the southern U.S. That plays a big factor into our severe weather season, and also that warm weather, right? The warm weather is very interesting this year, but it does look like our severe weather season is setting up very, very similar to 2002 and 1997. So take a look back at those years. We have the analogs in our hail forecast that we present at our Raising Hail Tour. Make sure that you're following us because we'll have more details about if we're going to do a virtual one or not. I know there's been talks around the office. Details are not confirmed quite yet, so we will of course get those out to you guys. Any other weather questions here? I like this rapid fire weather questions today. Tell us where you're watching from. We'll try to tailor this forecast to your area as much as possible. We cover the entire U.S., so sometimes it's hard to hit every single city. It's very helpful to know where you guys are watching from. I know we saw a lot of Ohio today. I know there's always people in here from Oklahoma, Texarkana. I know it's very popular in DFW as well. So let us know where you're watching from. Hey, if you want to see the Raising Hail Tour, again, we talk about 1997, we talk about 2002, we talk about all of those important years that could look like severe weather this year. We are going to head to Minneapolis next Tuesday. We go to Minneapolis for the Raising Hail Tour, where you're going to hear from experts across the restoration industry. We talk with Daily and Black. We've got Atlas coming as well. Letter Labs is coming to talk about your marketing strategy for your severe weather season as well. Again, that's Minneapolis, March 3rd, next Tuesday. If you want tickets, go to raising-hail-tour.com, and I have a discount code if you want a discount code for those tickets as well. One more time for those that are just jumping on, let's one more time go back through our severe weather risk this week. Today, we have a risk mainly down in the southern portion of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and all of Florida. The main area that we're watching for today for strong wind gusts and some hail is possible. I said pretty small hail, quarter-size hail here, is highlighted there in green in the central and southern side of Florida. Oklahoma could also see some storms today. It's going to be pretty isolated, and most of these will be your garden variety thunderstorms. Strike of lightning, rumble of thunder possible with these storms, but your severe risk here is very, very low. Tomorrow, very similar, where we've got a low severe weather risk for Oklahoma as well. As we look ahead into next week, Monday and Tuesday stay pretty quiet, but it's Wednesday that I'm really watching for. We're going to see storms on Wednesday anywhere from Oklahoma all the way down into Texas. We're talking about the entire DFW area here. And you can see how much rain that we're going to get from these storms. We've got a whole wet March set up here. Hang on one second, let me find that for you. Let's see, I'm going to future radar. There you go. All right, so there's those storms today across the southern portion of the U.S. We've got central and southern Florida included in that storm risk for today and tomorrow. A few storms across Oklahoma as well. The severe weather risk is going to be very, very limited here. A little bit of hail. It's going to be small, smaller than the size of a quarter if we get any hail out of these storms. Heavy rain coming down in Wichita on Sunday. You go farther to the north of there, you've got a mix of winter weather. As we head into Monday, you can see a little bit of rain out there, but what we're really watching for here are those storms on Wednesday, so the middle of the week here. We have a nice low pressure system setting up. You can see that moisture wrapping around to the backside of that low pressure system, a little bit cooler up here. Better chances for storms down to the south, anywhere from Oklahoma City to Dallas. Remember that yellow polygon that I showed you earlier, identifying the hail risk or the storm risk for Wednesday? It's this storm system right here, okay? You've got a line of storms likely from north central Texas all the way up to central eastern Oklahoma. Kansas City, Missouri, lots of rain for you guys, maybe even a little bit of snow on Sunday. Snow to the north of you guys on Sunday. Then you've got a rain system coming in Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, low chance for severe weather the farther north that you go. But you guys are going to get a lot of rain, which I know that you need that as well in Kansas City. There you go. And there's system number 1 next week. System number 2 comes in on Friday. Impressive dry line setup here. All hazards possible. We've got that hail, wind, and tornado risk next Friday. If I had to choose a day that the tornado risk looks most impressive, I would choose Friday. Great questions today. Any last questions before we hop off of here this afternoon? Take a look at your 5-day rain chances. We've got some nice rain moving in across most of the U.S. Ooh, look at that. St. Louis getting a soaker this week or next week. Kansas City as well. We've got some much needed rain coming in for the southern plains. And there's your forecast. Thanks for joining us today. Make sure you get your tickets for the Raising Hail Tour at raising-hail.com, DM us for a discount code, and follow us for more weather updates. I know it's the weekend. You guys take some time off, but we will be watching the weather and we'll be posting about the weather and about what we're expecting next week over the weekend. So follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and give us a call if you're interested in a hail, wind, or tornado map. All of those storms that happened yesterday, we've mapped them. We mapped them in near real time yesterday as they were happening. Give us a call, 855-334-4245 for info on how to get those hail, wind, and tornado maps, or head to info@hailtrace.com, or head to hailtrace.com for more information. We make it really easy for you guys here. All right, thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. I'll see you back here, same time, same place for your forecast on Monday.